Here.
Ms. Hassler?
Here.
Ms. Eisenhardt?
Here.
Ms. Falco? Here. Absent are Ms. Cook, Ms. Plummer, and Mr. Miller.
I'd like to ask the council if we could revise the agenda for public comment, and also we need a special meeting on December 1st. It's basically advertised for that.
Do you think we should have a special meeting before December 1st?
I don't know if there'll be time for that. I don't have anything to report to council, but I know that the 26th is a deadline. So I'm thinking on the 1st will be the first day after the holiday. If that's possible.
I think we should have one Wednesday, if we could.
It has to be advertised.
I know, but we need,
Is there enough time to advertise for it? So the earliest would be probably Monday. I would like to, we'll talk in executive after this meeting, we can have a conversation.
Are you referring to a public meeting on the 26th?
No,
That's executive?
we don't have enough time to advertise it. We would have to have a public meeting, the earliest would be December 1st, that would be Monday night, if that could work. And we would have to have an executive session also that night as well.
Could we have it on the 28th? I don't know if I'll be able to be here on the 1st.
The 28th is what day is that?
That's Friday.
It's a Friday.
Friday.
I don't know if is there time to advertise a public meeting for Friday?
I'm looking up their holiday
Oh, yeah.
deadlines for
It's high sensitivity with everything, I don't know.
So,
That's, if the timing's not good on that.
Stacy, if everybody would have answered the email you did for me while I was out, we'd have time
to
have a public meeting before Monday.
before Monday, December 1st. I would have advertised it then if everybody was fine with a meeting last week then.
And how many people responded?
I think Kathy responded. I'm not sure about anyone else.
Yeah,
I don't know which, I don't know.
Stacy sent out an email because I didn't have access,
I know that you didn't have that, I did see that email.
and I would have liked a public meeting.
Oh, I don't know if that was mentioned in the email.
I don't recall that
I don't
either.
know that.
I don't know if I looked at part of it.
I don't recall that.
When did that go out?
Friday or Thursday. I called you while I was traveling.
Yeah, so you traveled on Thursday and Friday.
So, date.
I don't have it.
I don't remember reading that specifically. I remember it's reading that you were going to be away and didn't have access to emails. You said Friday that went out? 21st?
Pretty sure it was Friday.
It was Friday at 10:33 a.m.
What's the title on it? There's 10.
Addition to agenda for 11/24/2025, Scott A's call. So we do have an item on the agenda regarding any communications that are involving the collective bargaining agreement.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's on the agenda. We don't have anything to
Well,
We have to maybe talk, maybe we could recess into executive session when we get to that, and just briefly, so we can talk and then resume the meeting tonight. Would that be okay?
yeah.
Let's maybe do that. So do we want to revise the agenda to include public comment and the special meeting?
Did you want to make that motion yourself?
And Kathy, you said you don't think you could be here on the first.
I don't know yet. I won't know until later tomorrow. I have no idea.
Okay. Then I guess let's make a motion to revise this agenda to allow for public comment, because that wasn't on here, and then also a special meeting to be at Stacy advertised for December 1st.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. All right, so that's, yeah, so motion carries.
Kathy, are you an abstention or nay?
Oh, I said, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, okay.
So,
Thank you.
so do we have any comments from the public? So we can get that started. Monica, and for the record, of course. Thank you.
What special meeting is this for, since you're talking about?
In case we have a need to discuss anything relating to the outcome of our negotiations, we're not sure how that's going just yet, so we have the contract for negotiating, we don't have any further information we can share, but we need to look and see we still have the rest of this week.
Okay, so I was gonna ask about
We would,
contract and what, like, this agenda seems to be going backwards rather than forwards with something on here. So.
I'm not sure what you're referring to.
I think what Monica's referring to is there's rumors that we're going back and
In what way? On what?
anybody that reads the agenda ahead of time on the internet is going to see coverage through Pennsylvania Municipal Health Insurance Cooperative, approval to send a letter to Pentagon to rescind the cancellation. So that's telling people that there's not going to be an agreement, and it's going to end up costing a whole heck of a lot more money for insurance, plus the 5% increase that we're going to have with PIMIC, and we could have all that savings going with the Teamsters. And there's stuff in that Teamster agreement that I personally don't like, but it wouldn't be a deal breaker for me to save the money. And there isn't gonna be much of a savings the first year, because you would have their higher increase and their 1-year retro pay.
We're not, we should not be discussing the
Well,
terms.
it's an answer to our question, because the way it would, that's how we got into this,
Listen.
is because people from council said stuff in the public that they shouldn't have said. That's what sparked this whole organized.
Well, we had an executive session.
I know we did, but
And we went with your recommendation. So you're acting like we didn't discuss this.
no. My recommendation on the wages was not a recommendation. My thing with the wages was, I said, places that I worked and been involved with negotiations, we didn't put everything in the front. We went blah, 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 blah. All I said that. Nobody voted on nothing.
We'll have to
And then my name gets put to it.
we'll discuss that in executive session.
The only thing I brought up that I really didn't like was the 7.5 to the 2. But that's not a deal breaker for me if we're gonna save all that money. That's just my opinion.
So let me get back to public comment. Please, Monica, is that what you're referring to?
Well, that's part of it, and going back first day, you got a contract here again for an hour, which to me does not look good.
Okay, well then, please just let us explain, and I'll actually explain this now if we go out of order here. So, we are currently in negotiations with the union contract, and we really shouldn't be discussing the terms of that in public, but we are in negotiations with them, and they have through the rest of this week, well, the middle of this week, to get back to us. So this meeting's a little premature. These things that are in here are basically, in the event we don't come to some agreement with them, we would need to make some changes, and we have to vote, because this is the only meeting we have before that we can have to motion to, if we're going to rescind the insurance, we have to do that at today's meeting. Regarding the water and sewer operator services, this is a renewal of a contract that will need to stay in effect until we sign on the dotted line with the contract. We haven't done that yet. So this is to protect the borough in the event for a few days we need any type of services from another company. That's all that is for. This is an old contract that just needs renewal.
Yeah, should it have royalty occasionally, or no, just the royalty?
Yeah, it could say that, because that's what it is, it's intended for that. Excuse me, if you could please state your name and your address, and then we'll hear, and Monica, are you done with your comments, because I gotta move on.
Yeah.
This is our meeting.
I was gonna get the insurance thing, but that was answered.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Senior Commissioner Manager.
Okay,
Going back to the Arrow contract, you're saying that it's as an emergency. How long is this contract term for, or is this like a monthly thing or renewal?
No, so last November, we discussed putting in place an emergency contract, and we voted on it in December. And November 25th meeting, and basically, the contract is like a yearly contract, if we were to need services. So they just say, if you need us for an emergency, here's the terms that we will work with you under. And so basically, it's just a renewal of what we did, because we don't have a signed contract yet. We have to have coverage with an operator.
Is there something that we're paying a fee for every month, or is it just a little?
No, it's an as-needed basis type of contract. And we didn't use it all year, so it's not like it's anything that we haven't done already. It's just to keep it active until we have a signed contract, which could happen this week. Or may I add something? Just one moment, Carol. Are there any other questions? Because we need to move on in the meeting, and I want to make sure. All right, with no other questions, go ahead, Carol.
It's also in place, am I correct, for Alex to be able to take time off, or if something would happen to him, that we have backup to cover,
Absolutely. It's an emergency.
because he has not had off for how long?
Well, we tried. We tried
Exactly.
since June. So, anyway, yes, it's for an emergency basis, and that's what it's for. All right, so let's get to the main reason we're here, which is really the discussion on the budget. If you could, please, Stacy.
So the proposed budget was prepared and put on display to the public. It has to be equal between expenses and revenue for the general fund, for the water fund, for the sewer fund. No changes have been made since then. It did incorporate some cuts to make everything balance, which included from discussions and that presentation at the last council meeting, mostly to the general fund. So at this time, council has the ability prior to adopting the budget to make any changes that's found necessary, especially if changes are made that affect our healthcare coverage, that affect things that come in from the federal government, state government, local government, that show us that we're going to get less revenue, anything like that. So that's when we discuss it at subsequent meetings to the budget presentation. So if you were not here, the budget, like I said, is printed and proposed version is available during normal business hours in Borough Hall. Some of the changes that we need to now consider due to the fact that the Topton Municipal Authority, which sets the water and sewer rates, passed a resolution and has not subsequently met again to discuss any different than they did at the meeting that they passed their resolution, and that was passing an increase only on the overage and only at an amount of 5%. So we now have to decide, does that provide enough revenue in the water fund and in the sewer fund to cover all of the expenses?
Have you met with them? When's that gonna happen? You're meeting with them?
That I've tried to ask, and they thanked me for the information that I supplied, but they have not come in to meet with me.
Okay, is there any way you could maybe
Reach out again? Sure.
You could copy us on that, just so
Sure,
that we
okay,
can stay in the
yeah,
loop, because that's very important. We have a deadline, and they've got to be supporting the amount of revenue we need to pay our loan and other expenses moving forward.
So that's why the item is on the agenda this evening, but council is, more than welcome to discuss any other items other than water and sewer rates during tonight.
Stacey, I do have a question to ask you about the budget, and if you're not sure, it's fine, I totally understand. I don't want to put you on the spot. But someone have a tentative approval of the budget on the 8th of December. I personally don't feel that we are anywhere close to even thinking about trying to pass that budget on the 8th. There's so many things that have yet to be even discussed. There are things that have not been even discussed at this point. What are your feelings? I mean, you're the one that is sitting there crunching constantly and changing everything. I mean, I know you kind of go with everything.
Yeah, and that's my job, so.
But I do not feel that at this point, and I will not have you working exorbitant amounts of hours because this council cannot come up with cannot make up their minds on certain things.
So then my suggestion would, to set a time when and where to discuss the remaining issues or items that are unresolved in the budget as it is.
Kathy, I would agree with you. So what we do know is the budget is balanced as far as showing that we have no more negative because we've drawn money out of line items to balance it. There's the things that we have to do, you're right, we have to decide on additional monies that are needed for cash flow and for emergency. That was, we discussed that. You said you want me to have enough money in the checking account to pay bills till revenue comes in so that you can pay bills. So what amount of money do you feel you need to be comfortable to be able to pay bills while we wait for revenue? So our revenue comes in bulk, right? It comes in when tax bills get paid. Water and sewer comes quarterly with chunks of money. We have earned income tax that comes different times. We have other monies that come in for other purposes, but they're the main ones for our budget that we need to pay our bills. So how much in the checking account do you feel that you'd like to have available to pay the bills?
So on average, the general fund needs $100,000 a month to pay the total of the month's bills.
Okay. And so how many months worth of hundreds of thousands do you need? I mean, do you feel you can get by with?
Well, it's always good to have at least at the end of the year, the beginning of the following year, $100,000 in our general fund.
Okay, so that would be the minimum you need for your.
And then, although the taxes for real estate come in starting after the first quarter, that first quarter, we tend to use the earned income tax, and then if it's an emergency, then we have been supplementing with the recreation loan proceeds account.
Okay, so you've been using the recreational account money, which is really reserved for.
Correct.
So you're using encumbered funds to borrow from that you need to replace.
in an emergency, like if we know that we're doing bill payments that cannot wait, that have to be paid, we don't want to incur late fees or
Sure,
the amounts
sure,
are due.
no, that's fine,
Yes.
again, I'm just making sure, so you can pull from that, but think of revenue that comes in the following month or so that you can.
Then transfer back
you can-
into
you
the
can fill
recreation.
that back up, so that's
Right.
not something, so do you have enough money coming, is 100,000 in your checking account going to keep us out of trouble?
At least for January.
Okay, well, what do you, okay, I'm not feeling happy here, but I hear that.
And then we get approximately 30 to 40,000 for EIT on a monthly basis.
Okay,
Because people start filing their taxes
Right,
in
right.
January.
And that comes out of the payrolls every
Yes, it
month
does,
that
yeah.
Berks EIT collects from us.
So, you know, you get that.
all right, so we need to figure that number out, where we're coming up with that. And then for your reserve, for a rainy day emergency, you have a sinkhole open up in the middle of Main Street, we gotta fill it. We need to have some revenue to draw from, so that would be unencumbered funds. How much do you feel would you be comfortable with? Now, I know you always have this rec account that you can go to get stuff, you have to put that back, because that's for purpose. So as far as a reserve, how much money do you?
It's hard to say because Topton has not had a reserve since I've been here.
I know,
So,
that's very
it's a wish
dangerous.
list.
That's a very dangerous thing.
It's a wish list, so any amount would be wonderful to start with and then keep building on and not touching.
Okay. So, what number do you think is going on that line?
That's.
That's up to council, that's more up to
That's
council.
up to us to say.
All right.
Okay, so then that would just leave that kind of a little question mark. We also have to, Kathy, just to get back to what you were saying, is we have to decide on, you know, it's not just the union employees, we have 3 union employees, so we have to decide on their wage package. So,
Correct.
so we have to, can't forget about that. So we have,
Property taxes. What are we doing about property
so
taxes?
then we have to, well,
Are we doing a rating? Are we doing a
well, we have to
millage
look, we have to look to, so we have really, I don't know, as far as I know, we have 3 options. Those 3 options would be, to look at other line items to see where we can draw from, change operations in the borough, or a tax increase, right? I mean, are there any other?
No, basically, that's it. I would go through, yeah, if
So
council
what are
would
the
direct
3
me.
areas that we go, is there any other area that we can, there's no other projects that we?
No, because our main projects that, we would normally cut a project, that's correct. We would push it off to another year. Our main projects are grant funded or loan funded, and then there's a time frame and deadline for using the loan funds. So it's hard to push anything off with a deadline of a grant agreement or the loan, whether it's water, sewer, or general.
And some of the things you just can't push off. I mean, they've been pushed off.
That's
so
true
long.
too.
You can't keep pushing
Well,
stuff.
tax increases are part of what we have to do because of inflation and other reasons. We have very limited revenue also, we're very small borough. So those are things we've got to put together. And then the water and sewer, that's a very big part of this. We've got to figure out, and please stay on top of that.
Yep, and email will go out probably this evening.
Okay, I appreciate that. Do you guys have any comment on water and sewer?
I mean, water and sewer can only be used for water and sewer. We can't take from water and sewer to use for anything else.
We also have water and sewer that really owes general a lot of money because we pulled a lot of money out of general over these last years.
And do we want to go back into audited, already closed out
No,
books?
No,
we
we
gotta
do
move
not.
forward not doing that.
I think we just have to.
Yes.
We don't want to do that, we keep moving forward, we don't go back.
Right,
We don't
right,
go
so we have to
back.
make sure we raise enough revenue that we're not dipping into the general fund and then causing other chain reactions, okay?
And has to be decided, then we have to meet with the municipal authority again to get their approval, and we're running out of time.
Do they have a set meeting?
No, they do not.
So they have to set that to revote?
If they choose to revote.
If they choose to do that.
No, it's like, we're out of November,
Yes.
so we're against you.
Well, we also have an unknown with the contract, so that's part of what's pushed us back. If we would have known those numbers, and we would be able to look and see where we really need to draw from.
So we can't keep using the contract.
That's just one item. I mean, it's been outstanding for too long. We are actively in negotiation. If we could, Stacy, just touch on the internet. I'm gonna skip over the Washington Pump Station for just a second. If we could just, is there anything we need to discuss other than we're in negotiations with the collective bargaining?
And the status of which health insurance the borough takes. So our current insurance is a cooperative we've had for over 20 years. They only offer single and family coverage, and because of that, we don't have a lot of flexibility. We've already given them 6 months' notice as required by our agreement with them. And that notice was to not sign up with them again for 2026. And then we got notification that if we do not increase our enrollment by at least one person, one employee, by July of 2026, they will drop us anyway. So this is a lot of, at the end of the year, yes, we'll still remain covered by their coverage for the whole 12 months. So in order to rescind our cancellation, that's what is later on the agenda. So that would be the matter that is really affecting the collective bargaining and the budget all at the same time.
Just seems that by sending them something to rescind our cancellation, like, we're going, yeah, we're not gonna have a contract.
Well,
I really hate to do
we could make a motion subject to knowing by our deadline date. I mean, if we don't hear from them, balls in their court, if we don't hear from them by the end of the contract date, or the date that they have to respond, then we have no choice.
But that's just like a couple days.
I know, well, it's still a couple of
So
days.
then we're up against, and
Well,
we're right back where we started from.
well, we've been working on this for a long time. It's not like it's just, so,
This would be our third calendar or.
oh, it's been.
No, wait, I'm just saying, I'm talking about since talks resumed to the point where they're at.
At least,
Like from June to
yes,
July.
it's at
This
least,
is,
well, we didn't even, yeah.
but they didn't move off of their latest on R2, so that is telling me, because neither one of us can say this is our final offer, because there's laws against that. But if they're not moving on their last one that we got here on 10/29, they haven't moved off of that, they're not gonna move off of it.
Well,
You follow what I'm saying? They're not gonna,
Yeah, we'll have to talk about it in the executive
And-
session. Because we've been the only ones moving. We've been moving, it's not like we haven't been moving. We've been moving every single time.
but by them not moving off of this October 29th thing is telling me they're done.
Yeah.
And they like Mr. Boland said back in September or whatever, they got us. We're in the 12th hour. Scott Stufflet said it, Mr. Boland said it. We're in the 12th hour. They know they ran us to the limit. And there's still savings if we accept this, there's still savings
Well,
for the borough.
that's what we'll have to discuss. We'll discuss that in more detail. As we're currently operating, yes, that's correct. So do we want to, while we're on this topic here, do we want to just make the motion to rescind, to approve the rescinding? Should we not hear back from the union by the deadline?
And what's the deadline date? I think that should go into the motion.
So since the date is on the weekend, how the holidays.
Oh, the deadline date with PIMIC of 11/30/2025.
Well, 30 is not the deadline, is it?
That's the deadline for us, but the union contract.
Oh, no,
deadline.
that's not a deadline, it's, I mean, they missed their deadline every time they.
So an email has to be received by Benecon, the administrator of the PIMIC program, by or on, before or on 11/30/2025.
Okay,
So,
But because that is now a weekend,
yeah, that's what I'm saying, is that
it
possible?
should really be Friday, at the latest.
Okay, so then let's make it by Friday. You know,
so
you're-
if we would have to stay with Emmy, can we cancel with penalties? Or are we stuck with them for a whole year?
You're pretty much stuck. They did not tell me in writing or verbally how much the penalties would be, but it's probably equivalent to premiums for the 12 months anyway. You'd have to, because a contract's a contract, you have the opportunity to cancel.
Very few people let you out early without, like, they might charge us for the whole year. You know, that's our penalty.
It doesn't specifically state it in our contract either, what form those penalties are going to be.
Doesn't mean that we can't make some discussions in executive session to make changes. And we do have to make a motion on this, because if something doesn't happen, we need to do something. That's the.
So the 20th by what time of day? Eastern Standard Time.
Close of business, let's say what we have to do before the close of business.
And our close of business is 4 p.m., but not really, because Friday we're closed. So,
Oh, then you have to.
so that's why I'm asking you. I'm sorry.
Well, then really it should go by when you're available to do it, and you're not. So should we make it Wednesday the cutoff, or?
That's up to you. Benecon is being very flexible,
Is
so.
it possible for you to send an email on Friday? Is that
Of
okay?
course.
Then let's make it by noon.
Okay.
But you have to send an email then when you're out of town.
That's okay, it's easy. An email's easy. Email's easy. Sent in a
You
document
can
or something.
prepare the email and then just push the button on Friday. And that's the November the 28th. I guess I'll make a motion to approve, sending a letter to Benecon to rescind, should we not hear back by the union with something solid.
But here's the problem, Lee. Whether we hear back from them or not, we can't have a meeting before November 30th.
Well, we're gonna have an executive session.
No, but we gotta, to agree to their offer, we gotta do that in public. We're not gonna have a meeting.
No, we don't agree to anything in the public like that. Not that I'm aware of, I'll ask Jen, I've got a few questions for Jen.
So maybe what you're saying is, we're agreeing to go with the Teamsters health insurance for our employees
Just to
based on that.
accept their more or
A
less,
vote of council.
more or less to
to
ratify the
accept their
contract.
Well, we can make a motion that in the event they get back to us by the deadline, they have to get back to us, which is Friday. Should they get back to us in time, then we can make a motion to accept the insurance that we've discussed. And then should they not, then,
But we're sending
But
we're rescinding our termination on Wednesday.
no, she said on Friday, she would rescind it.
Okay.
So that's okay. So we could do it by Friday, we could go either way. And then if they get back to us, then we have it already done. Either way.
So I understand this. You're supposed to get back to us by
They're supposed to get back to us 2 weeks ago.
Just say Wednesday, or,
Yes, they have to get back to us probably by Wednesday.
if they get back to us by Wednesday, we can hold a meeting on what our next,
Well, we don't have to hold any meeting, I don't think, until,
Well, we should have a signed contract though, accepting
we're not gonna have,
either
we have to
insurance.
have a letter of
Carol, I'm not saying it
understanding.
has to be signed, but the steps be taken to get it signed, that we're gonna agree and they're gonna agree, so we don't get stuck in this.
How can we accept their word?
You,
You do, you
But it-
you
You
accept
should be
what-
able to, but
You accept what they send you,
you should
and
be
then
able to.
it's in writing,
You-
you're gonna say it's gonna be in writing, it's not
They're
gonna be
tentative
your word.
words, they're not,
yeah, you
they're not
can,
signed
you can
off.
title it a tentative agreement until,
Well, how about if we have a representative to let us know what's considered, I don't know the law on that, so, I mean, they would have to let us know what would be acceptable to be.
because it's not gonna start this year anyway, it wouldn't
Correct.
go in effect till, so
Right,
you
we have all
have,
December to work on that, but if they came through, then we could do something.
But by then it's too late, we're not doing it.
No, it's either gonna be either or. So if we don't hear back from them, then we're authorizing that Pinnick be continued. If we do hear back from them, then we would make a motion to, accept that plan, their plan.
so what if they don't change anything?
Well, we have to talk about that, but,
And we have enough time,
we don't have enough time, actually.
well,
That's our problem.
And who's to blame
Well,
about time?
Well,
This has been going on for how many years?
Carol, not to
Yes.
interrupt you, but would have to be both sides.
yes, it is.
And negotiations are give and take.
And
And who's been giving and who's been
you
taking?
wanna know what one of the problems was? That we couldn't sit at the table together and hash this out. Now, we did it through email, because then this guy waits forever, that guy waits for,
no, it wasn't quite like that. But no, let's stop it there, because we need to discuss in executive session this stuff. I don't want to say anything more. I don't want to say anything.
Banging her down.
I don't want to say anything more about it in public. We'll discuss it in executive session. So, I would like to make a motion to approve, if we need to, rescinding and continue with Pinnick should they not get back to us. In the event they do, then that motion would also be that we would accept the insurance that they will put forward. There's no real choice on that. You have to do one or the other. If they don't get back to us, then we're going down one path. If they do, then we go down a different path. Is there a second for that motion?
I'll second that.
Okay, it's here, roll call, we're all in favor.
I'm not in favor.
I can't say yes to it.
Well, we're saying yes to it because we don't have a choice. It's not like I want to continue down that path, but
Yeah, I'm saying no.
so if you say
And I'm
no,
saying our hands are tied. We have to have some kind of insurance.
how did you vote? I voted yes, I didn't say it, but yes, I voted because we don't have a choice, we're gonna have to vote for it or not. If we don't vote for it, that means we're not having Pinnick, and then we've got to find another plan, it's gonna be $250 deductible plan somewhere else. And maybe we should investigate that. Okay, so then we're tied, so that motion did not pass. Correct. So, okay, so then that is what it is, and then we'll have to look for other plans should we need to, then giving us the, what we need. So the next item would be, let's go to the Washington Pump Station, let's skip that.
Would you just like to briefly say what needs to be done to it?
Yes.
We have the history of the whole pump station.
Right now, we're ready to submit our permit to the Department of Environmental Protection. The application to get the permit for the pump station. So we're looking for the borough to sign off on the application and pay the fee. And we will be ready to bid it once DEP returns with the permit. So if you're willing to authorize us bidding it, if that should happen in between meetings, we can bid it as soon as we get the permit in hand from DEP. If you want more details on it or want staff to review it, we will gladly meet with staff to go over it in detail, go over all the specs. I believe also you will need to get your solicitor involved because we'll be doing this on someone else's property, I'm understood. So even though I believe you have a handshake agreement, you should probably get something in writing.
We do.
Okay.
Yeah, we do. She did put that together.
Because we're gonna be, it's gonna be a cluster. And it's gonna be a lot of work to get that pump station out of the ground. It's 25 feet deep.
We have a temporary construction easement agreement with the owner of the property.
And to finish the specs, I need to get your grant agreement, because we have to make sure that the bid spec includes all the requirements of the grant application. So we need that to finish the specs. This will happen at YDP's grant permit.
And so how long do you think that process will take for them to?
It kind of depends on how full DEP's plate is. I would be shocked if we got it before the new year. But they can take, they usually have 60 days and they can go up to 90. So I'm expecting sometime in January maybe we can get the permit. Not the earliest, but it could be good. All I can do is get it into DEC and I can't make it work any faster.
Sure, I'm just asking, so I have an idea of timeline, okay. So,
You will need a motion. Would council like to make the motion either for one, to submit the DEP permit application, or both submit the DEP permit application as well as authorize to bid the project, just in
Upon
case.
receipt of the permit.
I think we should do both.
Yeah.
I'll make that motion
I agree.
to, once you get the DEP permit, bid it out, get it done.
I'll second that.
Yeah, I think we should get it done.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Okay, part-time seasonal, public works, labor position approval. Someone make a motion to approve to no longer advertise the.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
We talk about it, we make a motion. Okay, so the next on the list here is to renew the updated emergency contract for Arrow's operator services should we need it.
I'd like to table that until December 8th.
We could, I mean, there's no reason that we have to.
I want to wait and see what happens.
Well, this is just for, this isn't for like, we're gonna do a contract, you know, this is only for, this is to protect the borough should we need, this should be in place until we have an approved contract. So it's not if we get an approved contract, it's actually once we get an approved contract, we will need this. Before then, we need this. So we probably really should approve it now. It's only in the event of an emergency, or if God forbid something would happen to Alex, and we need to get somebody in here, this has got to be in place. So they won't come out here.
I'll make the motion
To extend,
to renew the contract.
renew the contract until we don't need it. Okay, I'll second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Doesn't mean anything, Kathy, as far as, we're still gonna try to negotiate, this just has to be in place. 26 to 32 North Main Street subdivision final plan. Approve the waiver. Approve the subdivision plan from October 8th, 2025.
So council last spoke about this in their July regular meeting. That council was presented a letter from the planning commission that they recommended that Borough Council, upon the zoning hearing board's granting of the variance, that Borough Council approved the waiver and the actual plans. No motion was taken at the July meeting, and no motion has been taken since. Therefore, it's in limbo. Planning Commission has approved, zoning hearing board has approved their part.
So we're the third part of the process?
Yes, you could have made a motion pending the decision of the zoning hearing board, but no motion was made to do that. So now it's in council's hands to approve based on the recommendations of the planning commission as well as the results of the zoning hearing board meeting.
So I'd like to make a motion to approve the waiver of the subdivision. So let's have some conversation on it. Does anyone have anything they want to discuss about it? No, wait, we should have a second first.
I'll second.
Okay, so I'll second. Now let's have a discussion. So this is the property that used to be Trexler's flower shop, and it has a commercial building and a house. And they want to make the commercial building separate from the house. And there were a bunch of issues with that being.
There's a garage.
Subdivided.
Yes,
So
there's
they-
some other outbuildings there.
So the history is that over the past year or so, or longer, the applicant has brought in plans to the planning commission, subdividing it into 3 parcels. Then they came back to planning commission with only subdividing it into 2 because currently residential property cannot be on a commercial property unless it's a guest house for someone who works the property for that commercial property. So it didn't adhere to zoning, so subdividing off the residential property and supplying parking for that residential property were the items that were requested and then required by the planning commission and our zoning officer. So the waiver is to make the alley narrower than what is normal or acceptable. So it's a waiver of the zoning ordinance to be 18 feet wide instead of 24 feet. And the plans themselves is to subdivide into 2 properties, subdividing off the residential house and then moving the rest on the other property.
I mean, it went through zoning, it went through planning, they approved it, things nice, done whatever needed to be done.
All in favor of approving that? Not a nay for that. Okay, so that gets approved. Borough Hall access and visitation policy. Stacy, did you ever, you didn't do any revisions to that, we talked about it, but I don't know if you made any changes to that.
No, and
It was
did,
hard at it.
Right. We only discussed it together, council and myself at the last regular meeting.
I don't think that,
Not
I think we need to go over it, but I don't think that should be approved tonight. I think discussion should be in place. How does everybody else feel about that? You think we should discuss it, and maybe have it, you put down and make that how you feel it should be, and then using that kind of as a template,
Okay.
and then maybe
So at the
the
December
next meeting, the regular meeting, we should, if you could send that to us prior to that meeting, like maybe, so we have some time to
This
read it.
December meeting give you enough time.
Did anyone have any suggestions or comments on that office policy before we move on? Or do you want to wait till it's revised and then review it? Okay, then let's just move on. So that's no nonsense neutering for 2026, a discussion, possibly approval. But let's discuss that. I'll make a motion to bring it to the floor. If there's a second, so we can just discuss it. Is there a second motion? So that
Yeah, I'll
we can-
second that.
Just to,
Sorry.
just to open this up to discussion, so we still have to work on some budget things that we need to do here. What did they say as far as how much revenue or money is needed to get this program up and running? She
I
said,
do not agree giving any money because we're already having budget issues, and then you want to give money for
and I'm
this.
saying that I wanna know what they're saying, their financial
It
needs
is
are.
up to the borough.
So how much money they need to get, the seed money to get this up and running? Did she say it was just a few $100? Did she?
Well, that's her suggestions, and she offered two options or ideas to put into the agreement, but it comes down to it's $40 per cat.
Okay, so, all right, so she said that, when she was here, I think she said, we could get a program up and running for as little as really a few $100s, but she would give us some of the coupons, vouchers, and, so do we have any, Kathy, you might know this, what do you think as far as, how many, to be effective in the community, how many vouchers do you think we would need? Like, so, this is a starting point, so are you thinking like
30?
30?
Because
I know there's a couple colonies,
there's a nice colony on Borough Avenue that needs to be taken care of. And that's just starting it. It's like there's colonies on, Penn, there's colonies on Smith.
Starting on high.
Oh, yes, I forgot about the one on High. All right, there's more than one on High, isn't there?
well, they crop up everywhere and at some point in time, so
But if you don't get them fixed,
it's gonna perpetuate.
it keeps
It
growing.
keeps growing.
By getting that spade and neuter, you're keeping the colony in check, and eventually it trickles.
Sure, I've been there, done that.
Yeah,
So I'm familiar with how it
but
works.
we don't have money, the borough doesn't have.
Well, no, we've gotta work on our bigger problems here, so I'm not saying that this is something we're gonna decide on, I just wanna know how much money so we can look and see if there is any money for it, because we gotta figure out our other more pressing matters. So $400 would at least get us 10 vouchers.
Well, we would pay, what they usually do is, the vouchers are so much that the borough is contributing towards the spay and neuter. They usually do like rabies bags, sometimes it's distemper. They will treat them too.
So this $40 per cat,
So the borough pays part of it, and the owner pays part of it.
so the owner's the one that pays for the 40, or what do we?
So
let's say
there are
we
two
would do-
options.
Yeah, so we would do like 20, and the owner or the person that's taking care of it would do 20, or,
Well, this says here, so it's 25 per cat.
okay.
With a resident paying 15 per
Correct.
shelter. Or it's just this $40 per cat, and then we would have the money that we give them the money, they give us the vouchers, we give the voucher to the person to go get the cat done. Is that correct? That's how that works?
And that would be
And
borough
that's just-
footing the whole thing.
Yeah, so that would be the borough, so we would take donations for this amount, right, from the community if they wanted to. I have someone actually who is interested in donating some money anonymously. So not much, but a few $100. I have to check with them. So that could get started. And so whether or not, so what kind of commitment do we need, Stacy, if we want to do this? Like, is there a minimum amount? If we have some donations, that could get us rolling. We can always accept donations from people and send that money in, right?
So,
Without using money.
option number one is $40 a cat, and then the second option with joint effort of funding from the borough and other sources, that can be set in any way that council would like to. That's just an example that was given by NNN. I believe 30 days notice is ideal for them, so the beginning of December for a January start date. But if we cannot get that done, I don't think that they would turn us down if we
No,
did
I
it for
don't
less than
think
12
so.
months next year, if we started in February.
So what commitment do we want to have? We could just give them some money right now, and we can add to it?
They want a written contract, and that's why this is their contract that they make up.
We don't have any, like, financial commitment other than they give us money vouchers for every dog, each cat.
Yes, and they do the billing to us, so.
Oh, okay.
And they're just asking us to pay them in time, yeah. Sign the contract, pay them, and
We don't pay them until we give the vouchers out, and they put us in the
Correct.
books, right? So, okay. All right, I think that we should, look at this when we're working on the budget, so let's put that on the list here. Budget, and then if somebody wants to donate money, then we can probably get this rolling without necessarily budget. All right, so. We already made the motion for the tax, which should be, December 1st.
you made the motion to add it to the agenda to make the motion, discussing the motion.
Okay, then I guess we should make a motion to authorize a special meeting on December 1st. Can we make a motion that shouldn't be needed? Maybe after we have more executive session, I don't know if we can meet or not. We still have to authorize you to anticipate to advertise should we decide it's needed.
That's a good way to put it.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to that effect.
the topic of all special meetings need to state what what the discussion will include.
Is that something we can state when we,
Has to be in the advertisement.
has to be in the advertisement? Because I think we should talk to Jen Robbins on that, because I'm not sure what the
Discussion per solicitor.
Yeah. The second motion on that? Let's have a little discussion on it now. I don't know if there's any date sooner than that. Just probably this holiday is messing them up, so.
And we are advertising already. You have to give 24 hours notice in, a publication. And then their deadlines because it's holiday publications.
And then we'll have to talk to Jen. I'm not sure what's necessarily in the public and what's not there. I don't know. So, how do you all feel about, subject to Jen's consultation, having a meeting on December 1st?
I don't think we have to meet.
Well, we're gonna have to meet, at a minimum, for an executive session. And in addition to, right after this, so we're gonna try to wrap this up because we're gonna get started on our executive session.
Let's see what Joan says and go from there.
All right, so I need to make a motion, subject to Jen, to our meeting on the first, all in favor? Aye, okay. Kathy's not in the. Yeah, okay. All right, then, I'd like to adjourn to executive session. Is there anything else, Stacy, am I forgetting anything else?
I think we included everything. Did we include everything that you needed, Brad?
Yes.
Okay.
That is the start.
And you can do whatever it is you want to meantime.
Yes.
Do you need after the executive?
No, I think you may be dismissed.
And then we'll be in
Stacy,
touch.
you can send those to me electronically, because I'm submitting them electronically.
Okay. Once they're notarized, then you can drop them off the office and
And
then.
you can just send it to me electronically.
Okay.
Because you gotta scan them anyway.
Okay.
Scan them and send it to me.
Okay.
You can put the original in the mail if you want.
For the next time you see Josh
Or
on
next
the
Monday, you can give them to
eighth.
at the meeting.
Okay.
I like to have it signed original for the file, just in case.
So,
Is there any action taken after?
There's nothing we need to take in action on, so just we're adjourning the meeting. Kathy, Kathy, can you scan it all?